Comcast and Time Warner executives will meet with the Justice Department this week to discuss their plans. Bloomberg's Alex Sherman will not be in the room, but he is with us now. Alex, the Justice Department has been making some noises recently that it is not feeling this merger. What's going wrong?
Yeah, that's right. So on Friday, it was a big scoop for our Bloomberg regulatory team.
Yeah.
Really the first leak in this whole process, which has gone on for more than a year. It started in February of last year when Comcast originally said they'd buy Time Warner Cable. We heard that antitrust lawyers were leaning toward recommending blocking the deal. That was going to be the recommendation they gave to the DOJ, which is the first time that we've really heard any sort of negative sentiment out of the DOJ.
And this is the same, this is a story that we've seen before. One of the things that's changed recently is that the Department of Justice has actually been taking the lead on these mergers over from the FCC. When the T-Mobile AT&T deal fell apart, we first heard it from Justice. So Justice is really calling the shots here.
Right, exactly. And two things can happen where this deal falls apart. One could be that DOJ, in fact, blocks the deal, and then Comcast says it's not worth it for us to litigate this thing all the way to the end. The second thing could be that so many onerous conditions are placed on this deal by the DOJ, where Comcast says it's not worth it for us to pursue this because the deal that we thought we were getting isn't the actual deal that we're going to get.
Are we seeing the end of a 10-year era that you have been watching in telecoms policy, where the FCC said, yeah, you can merge, but these are all the things you're going to have to do for us? Is that over?
Well, it might be. It's one of the things that is being really closely looked at in this deal. We've learned that there's one thing in particular the DOJ is looking at, which revolves around Hulu. So Hulu was going to be sold about a year and a half ago. Yeah. Comcast is a passive owner in Hulu. And it's possible that Comcast may have intervened and spoken up, Brian Roberts in particular. He may have said, look, don't sell this thing. And that would be a violation of a condition when Comcast bought NBC.
Alex, I got to interrupt and say simply, I do research at home on this. Is this deck chairs on the Titanic? Just that simple. There's zero buzz in my house about cable TV. I don't know how to put it. They watch us on the internet religiously.
And who do they buy internet from?
Well, they buy it from them, but the
ding, 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 ding,
so
ding,
that's
ding.
why it's not deck chairs on the Titanic.
Alex is right.
You pay $130 a month. How much is that as internet, and how much is it shows you don't watch?
Well, if really en masse people start to leave, and they've been leaving for years, and many have been leaving, but still millions and millions of people buy cable TV. More than 100 million people in the United States buy pay TV. If that number really starts to go off the cliff, if the Titanic starts sinking, you're just going to have to pay a lot more money for your broadband only.
Tom, I got to jump in here, Tom. You're going to have to get the signal, whether it's a pay TV signal, whether it's an internet signal, from somebody who owns a wire that goes to your home.
There's one key point here, though, which is Title II. That you may have heard this thing being floated around the past few months. If the Obama administration decides and the FCC decides that they are, in fact, going to regulate internet companies and make them Title II, what they've said is that we're going to put off rate regulation to the side. But maybe the next FCC says under Title II, we are going to restrict how much you can charge for broadband.
Does the cable industry want Brian Roberts to win here, or are they rooting against him? I can't get a straight answer.
Depends who you ask in the cable industry. Honestly, the big winner in this, if this deal falls apart, there should be a ticker tape parade for John Malone. He would be the big winner. John Malone and Greg
And who's the
Maffei.
big loser besides Mr. Roberts?
Mr. Roberts would definitely be a loser. Time Warner Cable might be a loser, because if Comcast goes away, then Time Warner, no, he's Inc. Rob Marcus, who's going to get paid $80 million if this thing
What about
goes through.
Bucus and Disney and the rest of them? Do they, I mean, what do they have at stake here?
They're probably in the end winners, because the more distribution platforms, this was your earlier point, Netflix, Hulu, Amazon, Apple, they're all paying Disney. They're all paying Time Warner. So the more distribution platforms out there, the more these content guys win. There's just more people paying.
And Comcast loses.